Welcome everybody. My name is Garrett Sussman. I'm the Senior Content Marketing Manager at Grade Us. Welcome to our December 10th office hours, in which we're going to go over all of the new feature updates, the content we've been working on at Grade Us, and everything that we can do to help you all generate great reviews, monitor your reviews, market your reviews, or if you're an agency or reseller, kind of sell review management to your clients. So let's dive right into our agenda. This month, we're going to talk about some listings monitoring, our Yext partnership updates, the new floating carousel redesign. If you haven't seen it yet, we'll check that out. The roadmap for some API enhancements. That's for more advanced technical stuff that our agencies or resellers or kind of our agencies and partners use to automate using Grade Us a little more easily, but you need like kind of some development help to do that. The Grade Us blog updates. We'll go through the really great webinar we had a couple weeks ago for reputation management for agencies. A lot of agency focused stuff this month. Just a Google Tag Manager feature beta reminder. And then we'll go through the new white label review management slide deck that we created and is now available. So listings monitoring Yext partnership. So if you haven't seen our office hours announcement last month, we do have a new partnership with Yext. Basically, if you are a business and want to offer or use Yext listings management, either for your own company or for your clients, you can reach out to sales@grade.us, and we now offer a reduced option of Yext. And so, the reason Yext is really appealing is that it allows you to update your listings across a variety of different citations, directories, review sites with just one click. It makes management really easy. It's ideal for businesses that have a ton of locations or have a ton of different listing sites that you're on, and you don't want to go in manually to each individual site. Now, Grade Us still has our monitoring feature. If you go to listings monitoring, you can get updates on a variety of sites to let you know if your name and your address and your phone number across those sites is accurate and up to date. But with Yext, it really enhances it, takes it to the next level. One real appealing feature with Yext listings management is when you come into the holiday season that we're at now, customers really do expect you to have your hours correct and updated, especially for whether it was Thanksgiving last month or Christmas hours or New Year's hours. Google My Business actually requires you to confirm your holiday hours. So you can obviously go into Google My Business and do that manually, but with Yext it allows you to do it with one click and really simplifies that process across all your different review site listings and just directories. So we released the floating carousel last month. The very first iteration, we included a form in our last office hours to get some feedback on the designs and what you want to see added to that floating carousel to make it really be the type of asset that you want to represent on your website. And so we've just updated it. We're really excited with the new sleek modern design. So here it is. And so you can see it includes the logo of the review site. It includes the star rating, and it includes a truncated version of the review and the person who wrote the review with like the ability to click that link and it'll take you to that review on the review site. So now if you just embed the code, you can add that to yours or your client's websites and it'll appear on the bottom left-hand corner, and there's some customization options like how many reviews appear. Basically, it's similar to the review stream in that whatever you set up for the settings for the review stream will apply to the floating carousel. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. It looks a lot slicker. And so if you just go over to your review stream settings, you'll see the embed code there, and that's where you can access it and start adding it to your site. Has anybody in the chat added the new floating carousel to their website, and is it something that you're liking? Do you have any more feedback about it? we're always really curious to continue to update it. Oh, Dean, you've added it. What do you think so far? Have you heard from your customers what they think about it? Has it come up in conversation? Because the hope here is that this is a key form of social proof. Oh, Bill, yes, you like it, but the code is missing this morning. Should be on there. Reach out to support@grade.us if you're still not seeing it. Hopefully there's no bugs there, but it's one of those things that really just modernizes your social proof. It shows that you have all these great 4 and 5-star ratings. Naturally, with the review stream settings, you can make it so only the 5-star reviews appear. And it's just another way that when people are browsing your website or your client's websites, it's going to make them feel comfortable using you as a service. Oh, the customer loves it. That's great to hear. Do you need to re-up the code, or will it auto update with the new look? It will auto update with the new look, Dean. You don't need to re-up the code to get the redesigned version. So just double check. Sometimes you'll just need to empty your cache to make sure the new version is up there. So while new customers who visit your website will see the new version, if you have a stored version on your site, sometimes the older version will still appear. Very cool. Okay, so one of the things that we've been working on that we're really excited about for our agencies and resellers is API enhancement. Our API is something that ultimately we want to be able to allow customers with development resources to be able to automate so many, like almost every aspect of the Grade Us platform without having to go into Grade Us to do it. So basically using code to talk to our system to get things like setting up a new profile, a review funnel, adding listings, getting reviews, all that sort of thing. So we have a bunch of things that we want to do with the API, but the first thing that we want to do is we're going to enhance the functionality over the next few months. And so that's going to include updating the user creation. So using the API to be able to add, delete, and update users and retrieve your user lists. Profile creation, so being able to create a new profile, add them, delete them, update them, retrieve profile lists. So basically you can get all of this information from the API and communicate with the API. So if you're setting up your own interface to do it yourself through your agency, it's going to be that much easier with our updated endpoints. For those of you who don't really use the API, you can put on your earmuffs for the time being. Just hopefully it's not too in one ear out the other, but it's just for more advanced development. It is going to allow for email and text campaigns, so you will be able to create a new email and a text campaign, as well as edit the campaign attributes, add, delete, and update your recipients, and then we're just going to have increased security features for the API. We are continuing to add other aspects over the next few months, but this is the first kind of iteration of enhancing the API. We think it will really benefit our agencies and our partners, and that's something that they've been asking for a little bit now. So for the Grade Us blog updates, we've been doing some really cool updates. We've been updating some older posts that are overdue. So for instance, we had this review response templates for great reviews. Like, how do you respond to a great review? We had a great webinar a couple months ago about responding to fake reviews, but one of the things that one of the panelists said there, Ben Fisher, said in general was just this idea of you really want to respond to every review. And while it doesn't always make sense to use a template, because especially if you do have customers, they don't want to see the exact same thing every time. But the goal of this blog post and these templates is to give you just the starting point that you could then take and personalize when you're responding to reviews, either for your own business or on behalf of your customers. And it also kind of identifies those specific situations, because you do see sort of archetypes with the types of reviews that you receive from people, whether it's just an altruistic, I appreciate your service type of review versus, that kind of half, 4 good points, maybe 1 slightly negative point, and how to address that. And so blog posts like this, we also have one for negative reviews coming out next week on how to respond to those, using those templates and then modifying them for your own personal use is going to make your job that much easier when you're responding to reviews. We did a really great marketing roundup, which I thought was interesting, of just how marketing experts read reviews. So people like us, or like you guys who you're all working with review management, familiar with it, how you actually read these reviews, these experts read these reviews, and how it informs their review management strategy. So I thought there were some really cool insights in that blog. Been doing a lot of interviews with some experts as well. Becky Sims runs an agency. She gave some great insights into humanizing SEO, because we try to address SEO with some of our content because it's relevant to local search and reviews, and how that plays into appearing higher in your local search and near me searches. Nancy Harhat went into some really interesting psychological marketing principles. Syed Irfan went into some ideas about PR SEO. And then Doug Kessler did some really cool, unique content marketing ideas. Last couple of months, we've been doing a lot of deep dives on industry posts. So if you go to blog.grade.us, you'll see all of these articles kind of listed there. We were doing industry specific, so we finished up that. We ended with some financial services industry, elder care, SaaS reviews, but we also already did all of the major review industries like legal, hospitality, restaurants, healthcare. So you can find those posts, and they're really epic deep dives into everything you need to know about review management for those industries. Now what we're actually doing is we're doing deep dives into specific review sites. So the goal here is to first, go through how to claim those review sites. The first three that we did were TripAdvisor, Better Business Bureau, and Google. So how to claim those listings, start to really optimize those listings. These posts talk about why these sites are important for you or your clients, whether they're industry specific or really industry agnostic like Google. It talks about how to get reviews on those specific review sites, as well as goes into some of the specific features that you'll see. Like with BBB, it talks about the ratings and how that's different than reviews. It identifies who your point of contact is, because for the Better Business Bureau, it's more geography specific for who your contact is. With TripAdvisor, it talks a little bit about advertising options and whether those are valuable for you. And then Google just goes into all the different features, whether it's posts or products or updating your hours. And then ultimately, with all of these posts, it comes back to Google reviews, or it comes back to getting reviews. So our hope here is that these deep dives are helpful, whether it's for your business or for your clients. If you focus on a specific industry, we're going to continue to do these for other industry specific review sites after we kind of do the big ones like Google, Better Business Bureau, TripAdvisor. I haven't decided or not whether we're going to do Yelp or not at this point, just because with Yelp, obviously they don't allow you to ask for reviews. And, with Yelp, we don't necessarily want to say anything that gets on their radar in a negative way, because they are pretty litigious when it comes to any sort of Yelp related content. So we haven't decided if we're going to kind of just address them or just let them be an elephant in the room. How about everyone here? What is the review site, aside from Google, is the most important review site to you and your clients these days? Any ones that you're specifically looking to find more information on that we can, prioritize and try to get a deep dive blog post up there? Because we'd love to make sure that we're covering the review sites that actually matter for you. Oh, great. Jordan says Facebook. And I think we started to do that. We need to go even further, Jordan. We have a blog post on Facebook recommendations. It's just blog.grade.us /Facebook recommendations. And we started to go into that deep dive. So check it out. Assisted living, JD, that's a good one. So are you looking at like caring.com or some of the other specific, like the Golden Corral types of review sites? Because we definitely need to go into some of those. And there is an elder care assisted living JD deep dive blog post that you can check out that is already on the site. That'll be helpful. Cool. Okay, I'll definitely have our freelancer take a look at that. Yeah, no problem. Okay, moving on. Reputation management for agencies, the webinar replay. So a couple weeks ago, we had this really great webinar. We had Heidi Sullivan from UpCity. Now, for any of you who are running a digital marketing agency that offers review management, I'm just curious, do any of you have a listing on UpCity for your agency? The idea behind Yelp is litigious. Please watch the $1 Billion Bully. I did, Roger. I heard about the $1 Billion Bully, the documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but it's really interesting with Yelp, the way they kind of do their marketing. I mean, I give them a lot of credit. They stick to their guns when it comes to their philosophies on the review ecosystem, their own site, and how they won't be bullied by anyone else. But they definitely do some very interesting tactics, whether it's regards to their advertising. But I'm gonna watch that, Roger. I haven't seen the $1 Billion Bully, and I've heard it's definitely a good watch. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, there was a documentary that addresses Yelp's strategy tactics with advertisements and small businesses. Oh, that's so cool. Roger was interviewed for the film. Okay, I'm gonna look for you now, Roger. That's really cool. So Roger McManus was interviewed in the documentary. Okay, so anyway, so this webinar we did was mostly focused for agencies, with a lot of agencies that provide reputation management services for their clients. A lot of times you forget about doing reputation for your own agency. It's really interesting. Even talking to Heidi Sullivan, who's the VP of product and innovation for UpCity, she said when she was doing consultations, she actually never did a website for her own consultations. And it's interesting where a lot of agencies don't even have their own website, let alone have their agency represented on review sites like UpCity or Clutch.co or even Google My Business. And so the goal of this webinar was to really address what you can do as an agency, especially going into 2020, to utilize these listings and these directories to generate leads and prospects for your agency. Because I know with a lot of agencies, the majority of your clients come from word of mouth or referrals. Is that the case for everyone who's in here? Do you typically get your clients when someone recommends it, or do people find you online either through your website, through Google My Business, or through like a review listing site like UpCity? Both, JD? Okay, so you're on top of it. This was a really great webinar. We had our own client here, Dean Heasley, who is part of Duct Tape Marketing, and he runs Nashville Marketing Systems, and he was talking a lot about the benefits of having his Google My Business listing built out and what he did there. Jeannie Dietrich, who wrote Spin Sucks and runs her own agency, had some great insights as well. And then Heidi kind of gave a lot of great ideas for building out your listing on UpCity as well as these other review sites. The reason I would say watch this webinar beyond just your own review site listings for your agency is they started talking about some typical agency problems that they run into, which I thought was fascinating. The biggest one being transparency on your pricing. And how do you deal with that? They all had different philosophies, whether you include your pricing on your own website or if you just include more of a range of what you are open to doing. There's no equivalent to UpCity in Australia, says Mark. LinkedIn would be the next big option. That's really interesting, Mark. Mark, do you have a Google My Business listing, or do you just work nationally or internationally and accept clients from all over? That's really interesting to see if there is any sort of equivalency in Australia, but I'm sure you've done your due diligence. Okay, Bill says he gets a lot of his clients from referrals. Google My Business, exactly. And it makes sense. It makes sense that Google My Business would be, especially if you're focusing on local, that's going to be the way to generate a lot of, businesses in the area. Anyway, it was a really great webinar. You can find it on our YouTube channel, or there is a recap on blog.grade.us that kind of goes through their tips and advice. I thought it was interesting. I hope you guys find it interesting and helpful as well. So just a reminder with Google Tag Manager, this is a beta feature that allows you to do some really interesting advanced techniques with your Google funnel using Grade.us. You would need to actually reach out to support at Grade.us to get access to this, and you do need to be an agency or a partner account. But the idea here is that you can do some really cool, either an optimized experiment, a Google optimized experiment on your review funnel. You could do some really cool, interesting things with heat maps, with Hotjar. One of the things that I find the most interesting is putting your Facebook pixel on yours or your client's review funnel that would allow you to identify specific demographics of the people who are going to your Grade Us review funnel, and then potentially using that to do retargeting or lookalike audiences. So, you in theory could set it up so for anyone who clicked 5 stars, using the Facebook pixel, you could then have a nice list of your 5-star customers and then create lookalike audiences based on that info. Same with LinkedIn Insight tags. If you put that using Google Tag Manager, you'd be able to generate the demographics based on LinkedIn profiles. Or just something as simple as adding a chatbot. So there's a lot of capabilities here. We're excited to see our customers try out Google Tag Manager on Grade Us and just see, some of the creative, innovative ways that they're able to use it. Okay, so finally, we just launched this new white label review management slide deck, both as a Google slide and a PowerPoint presentation. Now, you would have seen it in the email newsletter that we sent out this morning. So go and look for it. I think the subject line was like floating carousels and white label review management. You can download it directly from there. I'm going to add it to our resources. But we don't have it up there yet. And so for those of you who do have a white label version of Grade Us, this comes up a lot, but in order to access your white label agency resources, it is a little confusing, but what you basically need to do is go to your normal Grade.us sign-in, so not your white label version, and sign in that way with your username and password. Once it redirects you to the white label dashboard, you log in as you would, and then you go to this https://www.grade.us/business, bookmark that site to get into the Grade Us branded dashboard with the resources. From there, you'll be able to download the videos that we have, the different pitch decks, some of the other resources that we have for you to download. And we'll be adding this one up here. So can you all see the white label review management pitch deck that I have here, which is in this Google slide? I just switched over. You should be able to see it, but I just want to make sure. Just make sure that you can see where it says your company logo or name. Okay, great, JD. So we just added this. You can download, make a copy, or download the PowerPoint presentation and then personalize this yourself. And you can use this when you're selling Grade Us to your potential prospects. Now, this is a high level kind of value proposition of the pitch deck. And it really is just talking about the value of online reviews, why it matters to your prospects' businesses, and then how, your service or, the Grade Us service can help them with generating, monitoring, and then marketing those reviews. So the idea here is you start with the, the opening slide. You'd be able to put your agency's name or logo, and then any secondary information that you want there. Then you just dive right into the why online reviews matter, because for a lot of local businesses who don't have any experience in digital marketing, and we learned this actually helping a really massive multi-location client recently, of like having to break it down. And a lot of you know this, talking firsthand to mom and pop businesses that don't even have a website, don't have a Google My Business listing, where you're helping them with everything. They need to understand why reviews even matter. So we go into some of these statistics so that they influence the consumer behavior. And nowadays, consumers will research your business. And by doing that, some of these statistics are really helpful, that 97% of consumers read reviews for local businesses. 84% of consumers trust online reviews as much as recommendations from friends and family. Like, people do depend on review sites, on Google at searches to find these local businesses they want to work with. And 7 out of 10 consumers will actually leave a review when asked to do so, which is that kind of planting that seed of why it matters to ask for the review in the first place. Dean is asking how to go over how to log into the resources. Again, when you log in at Grade Us, it takes you directly to your white label dashboard. Yeah, real quick, Dean. So you go in to grade.us/sign in, and you put in your username and password. Once it redirects to the white label dashboard like you saw, and you log in, oops, let me go back a couple. You go to this, you just go to this link, the https / grade.us/business. So for instance, you'll go there. So like you just, if you have this like listing there, you just go to grade.us/business. It'll take you to a new page. And then what'll happen is you click on the, what do you call it? The question mark. And you'll see the drop down. Sorry about this. The drop down between support and resources. You click on the resources here. And so then you'll be able to see the resources kit. Oh, so basically, you can't see the URL. It's basically, going back here. It's this one right here. I'll write it in the chat real quick. So it's https://www.grade.us/business. Put it in the chat there. Let me know if that works. And so then you'll be able to see the two different videos that we have, some of our downloadable resources, whether it's just a white labeled client education articles that you can brand as your own, or these agency education, which are just for you. You wouldn't want to share these with clients because they're really just about, improving your own review management skills. This basic pitch deck, which is the old one that we had, which is still valuable. It really allows you to go in deep with your clients, focus on where they're at with their reviews, and kind of personalize it for them. The review management pitch template, which is that, and then this really cool white label review management checklist, which is just a comprehensive everything you need to know about reviews and going step by step, whether it's setting up listings or putting the appropriate people in place who are going to run your reviews for your clients or yourself, as well as where you can share them and having that whole sort of process in place. So going back to the white label pitch deck, the new one that we just added, some of these different statistics, then we'll go into some more statistics which focus on the value to your business. And so the idea that, the higher the star rating, the more revenue increase for, your business. And so that, when you're saying that to a customer or to a potential prospect, you're explaining to them, just by increasing your star rating, say they're at a 2 or 3 aggregate star rating, there are studies that show that it actually increases the revenue by having a higher star rating. Just another one, that 89% of consumers read businesses' responses to reviews. So when you're providing review management services, one part of that is helping your clients writing the response to their review, and how that matters to consumers when they're looking at a business to solicit. And then just this kind of idea that 40 positive experiences it takes to undo 1 negative review. So if you do have a negative review there, whether it's, having a good interaction with an employee at the business, or just, having a good experience, at the doctor's office, it was just a good, checkup, or, they got a nice email or thank you afterwards, all those positive experiences is what it takes to undo that 1 negative review. Okay, Dean, we definitely want to help you out. So yeah, sorry, Dean, if you can put in a ticket to support at grade.us, someone can check out and make sure that you get into those resources. Sorry about any confusion there. So moving on, we kind of dive into these challenges that a customer or a prospect might face, which is, generating new reviews, improving their reviews, so improving their aggregate rating, monitoring new reviews that do come in so they know that they have a new review, so they can actually then respond to the reviews, and then finally sharing the reviews. So then we kind of go to the real basic, this idea of, what are reviews? What do they look like? Whether this is an example of a Google review or, a Facebook recommendation like JD was asking about, or sorry, Jordan was asking about, or just what a review on your website looks like if you're going to be using that, whether it's as a testimonial or the Grade Us review stream. So you're planting that seed about how you can market and share your positive reviews on the site. Then you'd be able to get into where you get online reviews. So why Google, Facebook, and Yelp are the most important. And we do have that call here going back to Yelp, is how Yelp actually prohibits businesses from asking consumers for reviews. Although one of the webinars a couple months ago, same one talking about Yelp, one idea that they had was you can actually ask the customers to leave a photo on your Yelp listing, which technically isn't against Yelp's terms and conditions. That a Yelp employee actually said, sure, you're allowed to ask for a photo. You just can't actually ask for a review. And a lot of times, if a customer is leaving a photo on your Yelp listing, chances are they're going to then take that next step and just attach that to the actual review. So it's a really smart way to potentially get a review on your Yelp listing, knowing that you can't actually ask for the Yelp review. But then it also highlights how beyond the primary sources of asking for Google and Facebook and Yelp, all of these secondary industry specific or even just BBB, which is a next level value type of review, goes on to like the review funnel. So setting up this whole idea of choosing the review sites that are important to you to go on the review funnel landing page, setting up the review funnel, whether you're doing the stars segmentation or just the big buttons or doing thumbs up, thumbs down, and what those options potentially look like. Then we talk about review and reputation management specifically, and so how your agency is going to help the client, the prospect, generate reviews and manage their reviews. And so you modify this by putting your agency name here. So then we dive into these kind of three core aspects of review management, which is review generation, review monitoring, and then review sharing. And then it goes into some of these specific use cases. So, the challenge is generating and improving your reviews. And so what's the problem? What's the solution? What should your client, your prospects, customers experience? And then how are you going to measure that? And then you'll see what the actual process would look like from the review request to the review funnel to choosing the review site to writing the review. So they can visualize what that looks like linearly. And then how you can actually generate those reviews. So whether that's setting up the email campaign or setting up your text campaign and personalizing, customizing it, putting all of those components in there and how you're going to be able to help them do that. How then you're going to add their customers to receive the review requests for either via email or via SMS via the invite form, which your employees or you will be able to do on behalf of the client, or via that opt-in form that their employees can do or they can do, and just opening up that link on any sort of browser or on an actual tablet in the store so they can request an opt-in to receive that email or that text. Some of the other tools that you can do to generate reviews, whether it's the email signature snippets or the kiosk mode, or make your own printed invite cards with the QR code that links directly to the review funnel, or putting the button on the website. Just a brief showcase of the reporting opportunities, as well as the semantic word cloud from the review on your reporting page. What are these words that are surfacing and whether they're associated with a positive aspect of the business or a negative aspect of the business? Second challenge is that whole monitoring and responding to reviews. So you can talk about how the command center is going to allow you to monitor reviews, as well as getting email notifications when you have a new review that comes in, as well as responding right from that command center to Google or Facebook in it, or just for any of the other review sites, going directly to that review site and leaving the response, which you could then reference to the earlier statistic about how customers are reading the responses from the businesses and how that will play into whether or not they ultimately decide to use that business. Then finally, the marketing component. So taking that great review and sharing it on Facebook or sharing it on Twitter or using the review stream to share it on your website and breaking down how that would help. And then just this really cool visual of, the timeline of the online review journey. So basically the idea of asking for the review as the business, the customer receives that, gets to the review funnel, and they write the review. And then you as the business owner would then receive the review notification, respond to the review on the website that they left the review, and then share that review on your social media sites. Kind of a generic business case study, but how you've had a client who's generated all of these reviews on Facebook and Google in the first 9 months of using the platform, and then how they increased their actual reviews by 630%, averaging 4.9/5 stars compared to their original aggregate rating of 4.2 stars. Just a bit of social proof that it actually works. Oh, good, Dean. I had an extra T in the, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I added the extra T in the link. I'm glad it works and you're able to get there. And then finally, talking about pricing. Now, this is optional. It goes back to like that webinar agency discussion about, who's transparent with their pricing. But usually at this point, you want to talk about the range of the pricing and the packages that you offer. So, you can basically take your pricing and update this list and have it, be however you're going to offer to the potential prospects, or you can delete these slides altogether if you don't want to include these. Oh, I'm glad, Roger. I'm glad that you're finding this helpful. Our goal is for this tool and these slide decks to be as useful as possible. So if you do have any feedback, please, please, please email me, Garrett@grade.us. Always want to improve these. We've been working on this for a while, and hope it actually helps you in selling, to your prospects and building your agency. And then finally, you would do like the thank you and questions and include your business name and your contact email, phone number right there. The goal is for this to be as helpful as possible. One other resource that we had in the email that we sent out this morning was this review management FAQ. A lot of people really don't understand the value of review management, especially if they're not familiar with it like us. So we put together this white labeled frequently asked questions that you can either give to new clients or to prospects to go over it with them, talking about what it is, the value, the difference between review management and reputation maintenance. Some cool ideas talking about the ROI of online reviews. So if you want to get technical and really talk about how, depending on your negative and positive listings on Google when someone searches for your client's site, how much that actually will impact their bottom line from a financial standpoint. It can sometimes be difficult to explain the actual bottom line money value of reviews. And so Maz did some really interesting research that you can then apply, as well as some of these other really interesting ideas. How does it work? How long does it take for it to work? Oh, I think that's a really interesting thing that we want to include in here is this, how long does it take for review management to work? So you can be transparent with your clients that you'll see the early kind of dividends of getting a few reviews, especially if your clients don't have any reviews. Those early 5-star reviews can have a massive improvement. So like the first 30 days, there's certain things that you can do. And then over time, how it is still important to have review maintenance. So like consistently getting reviews every few months matters, because the newer a review is, the more it matters to your prospects. So using that as a value proposition to say, okay, well, after the first 30 days, it doesn't end there. We want to continue to get reviews, because a review that's 3 months or a year old is not going to be as valuable to your potential customers as a review that you just got in the past week. And we all know it when we go to a business and we're looking them up and we see the reviews, we're looking at the most recent reviews. If you see a review from 3 years ago, a lot of times you might think to yourself, oh, well, maybe they had different management. Maybe a lot of things have changed since then. Maybe the business has fallen off. There's a lot of reasons that having an ongoing relationship with your clients to generate reviews matters for their business. It's not like just a one time and then they're good to go. And then some other expectation settings with negative reviews. This can be really tricky because a lot of people expect you to be able to just remove a negative review no matter what. And as experts, we all know that, some can be removed if they break the terms and conditions of a specific review site, but some won't ever be removed if they're a legitimate bad review that doesn't actually break the terms and conditions. And in those situations, the best thing you can do is to continue to generate positive reviews, as well as respond to that negative review in a way that makes that customer feel heard and tries to resolve their issue. There's always the chance you can try to help them change it from negative to a positive if you resolve their issue. But sometimes there's just nothing that can be done. And so when you explain that and set those expectations to your customers, at least they'll know from the get-go what you can and cannot do and what's fair to ask just based on the actual rules of the review sites. Do I have any knowledge? Dean wants to know if I have any knowledge about the Grade Us GDPR policies that will be published. You have UK prospects asking about this. I actually believe, Dean, that is something that is being resolved as we speak. I believe we have a new solution for it, but in your email, since you already wrote, if you could just send another one about GDPR, I believe that we might have an answer for that, if not now, in the next week or so, the expectation is. So hopefully we do have resolution there, and I know especially with UK, that's a big deal, and at any given time that can impact the US as well. I know there are laws happening in California right now that are being put into place that have their own set of kind of requirements. So it's a good question. Just reach out to support, but that is something that is on our mind that we're working on. Okay, so that's all I really wanted to cover today. Actually went longer than I expected to, but I think it was valuable to go through all the white label review management pitch deck so you guys know exactly what's available to you. If you didn't see the email or didn't get it, feel free to email me, garrett@grade.us, GARRETT, and I'll be happy to get that over to you so you can start using that with your prospects and clients. But at this point, does anyone have any questions I could answer? Anything that I didn't cover today? Do my best. If not, always get support involved. If not, I hope everyone has a really great holiday season ahead of you, has some really great stuff planned. It's always a pleasure to talk to everyone, get some insights into what's working and what's not working. If any of you want to just hop on a call and chat with me about making the most out of Grade Us, or just giving me feedback on what you like about the system or what can be improved, always love to do that. Just email me, garrett@grade.us. We've got a lot of great stuff planned coming up for 2020. Some of the stuff that's in the works I'm not at liberty to talk about yet, but pay attention to our next webinar. I believe it's January 9th, which is the second Tuesday of January. At which point we will give some insights into some of the other things that we're working on. But if that's it, thanks again. Y'all have a good one. My name is Garrett Sussman. I'm the Senior Content Marketing Manager at Grade.us. And, always a pleasure working with y'all. We really appreciate you as customers. Have a great holiday and see you in 2020.